2021 has been a very interesting year when it comes to Indian cinema. And I specifically use this terminology because it has genuinely opened the eyes of the public of the rich cinema that is being produced from different states of the country. We have often restricted ourselves due to the barrier of language and cultures in our own country, while appreciating and singing praises of foreign cinema. I find that to be a bit hypocritical. Irrespective of my slight rant over here, I'm glad that Indians are warming up to the plethora of options and, more importantly, impressive ones that are available in our own country, and through this video, I will be mentioning my top 10 best films of 2021 so far. And do write down in the comments below before I list down my picks of what were your favorites. So here is Tried&Refused Productions with top 10 best Indian movies of 2021 so far. Number 10 goes to JATHI RATNALU. Probably the most I've laughed in a theatre in 2021 was when I was in a half-packed theatre with a Telugu-speaking audience as we all saw JATHI RATNALU. An absolute laugh riot following three friends from Jogipet. Srikanth, played by Naveen Polishetty, having aspirations to change his fate beyond the boundaries of what has been their world all along, the people and confines of Jogipet. And his two friends, well, they just tag along. The comedy of errors that follow as they move to the city genuinely will be such an enjoyable watch if you haven't seen it already. I love the landscape of today where Naveen Polishetty has become an absolute star. Priyadarshi and Rahul Ramakrishna lend such brilliant comedic support, and Faria Abdullah is an absolute dream in the film. JATHI RATNALU is what Andaz Apna Apna would have been had it released in 2021. The parallels and the magic of both the films is so similar. The characters are exaggerated versions of themselves. The movie always transitions to hypotheticals and recreates the same scenes with drama and angst, as if part of an over-the-top commercial film. It also keeps the humor intact while the circumstances at hand might be extremely grave. The beauty of an out-and-out comedy is if it can convince you of the absurdity. So if this movie has the ability to convince you that a group of boys went to jail just because they wanted to experience it, and how it feels when a plate of stale food is thrown at them, or a heavy dose of truth serum not working on an alcoholic, then you know the product itself is superior in so many ways. This one is a must for all of you. Number 9 goes to NAYATTU, a Malayalam film directed by Martin Prakat, who has also directed the enjoyable 2015 film Charlie that left a lasting impact on me. Was NAYATTU. The film focuses on three police officers that are on the run as they inadvertently get involved with a case that has a considerable impact on the upcoming elections. In order to avoid spoilers, I think I'll do you guys a favor and leave it at that. A film that is technically exceptional. I mean, you've got the music of Vishnu Vijay, the cinematography of Shaiju Khalid, and the art direction of Dileep Nath. The film is truly a cinematic treat. I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, but Kunchako, Boban, Thriller seem to hit it out of the park all the time. The performances of this film also will really impress you. While Kunchako and Nimisha Sajayan are praiseworthy in their roles, it is Jojo George that stands out in the film, solely from a character standpoint, and his arduous personal journey. A proud and loving father who acknowledges the corrupt system they are a part of, but learns to exist in the terrible circumstances. The film provides a brilliant take on how people who work on the ground are mere pawns to the people of authority. The individuals that work towards the semblance of law and order are easily dispensable, and the film begs the question, who is responsible for the grave injustices we see every day? NAYATTU definitely became one of the most impressive crime thrillers of 2021. Number 8 goes to MANDELA. This film, directed by Madan Ashwin, was such an enjoyable watch. A political and social satire in its truest sense, this Tamil film with Yogi Babu at the helm of affairs is probably one of the most cleverly written pieces. The film focuses on an upcoming election contested between two half-brothers in a village that is divided by both caste and geographical location. When there is a stalemate that needs to be resolved, the deciding vote falls on Nelson Mandela, played with such sincerity by Yogi Babu, an individual previously with no name, caste or identity. The willingness of the contesting candidates to turn the world upside down and secure the deciding vote forms the crux of Mandela. The existence of Mandela is absolutely worthless to the villagers until he is of some value to give them power. Mandela's apologetic existence is something he knows as his reality. To serve for mere porridge is enough for him, and he is so indoctrinated to this prehistoric system that he can't even identify the injustice. Sheila Rajkumar lends great support to this film, but it is Yogi Babu and his sensitive portrayal of a naive but a man with a heart of gold that will truly stay with you. A thought-provoking take on human behavior, especially the lack of morality and their invasive practices that are often unchecked. Mandela is definitely worth every minute on Netflix. Number 7 goes to The Disciple. One of the contenders for India's submission to the Oscars, The Disciple, directed by Chaitanya Tamane, was such an immersive experience. Following the life of Sharad Nerulkar, played by Aditya Modak, this film showcases the artistic journey of a man who has assumed his life to be for the service of the art form in its purest sense. While exploring the individual's journey, the film sheds light on various aspects such as the age-old debate between purists and commercially viable artists, the dilemma between a dreamer and pragmatism, the evolution of music and the sense of dread that one feels when this image of success seems like nothing but elusive. The Disciple is a film that many will connect with. For the poetry it showcases of the journey of a man seeking for something that is not objective in any way. While Chaitanya might get criticized for not upping the ante after court, but this is an eccentric piece that I completely fell invested in. For it tells the reality of many, which might not be exciting for most audiences, but it is sadly the truth of the majority of artists in India that surround us all, but we pass by without noticing. Tune in for the captivating storytelling, the enchanting slow-running long shots, and the beautiful performances by the cast. Number 6 goes to Drishyam 2. We have always had this perception of sequels not elevating the storyline of an already interesting project. I mean, it's not a perception, it is a reality. But Drishyam 2, directed by Jeetu Joseph, really did pique our interest tenfold as we joined George Kutty and his family 6 years after the incident regarding the missing and supposed murder of Varun, the son of the Inspector General. While the case is still pending, there seems to be a level of comfort and normalcy in George Kutty's family life, currently a movie theatre owner who is doing well for himself. While the family wants to move on and get past the traumatic event 6 years ago, murmurs and the grapevine in the village still spill their conspiracy theories and judgments regarding what may have actually transpired. The police was humiliated for not coming to a conclusion. What seemed to be just a simple man outwitting the people in power, they can't get over having no form of clarity, and we are brought back to the new revelation regarding the case which puts George Kutty and his family in the limelight for all the wrong reasons again. The film not only elevated the mystery around how George Kutty could possibly get away with this, but also formulated an interest of audiences to do a character study of a mysterious man like him, showcased with such conviction by the legend himself, Mohanlal. Number 5 goes to Karnan. After being absolutely obsessed with Mari Selvaraj's Peruram Perumal, I was so invested in watching his next with Dhanush titled Karnan. The film focuses on the people of the village of Pudiyakulam, considered a wasteland for some but home for others. This is a very eccentric group of people that are strong-headed but loving and supportive for one another. They understand and are pragmatic towards the structure of society and the inequalities that come with it. They acknowledge the unfair treatment and animosity that exists with their neighboring village, but there is a simmering anger within them and they are on the edge, ready to werewolf and go wild. With beautiful cinematography by Teni Iswar, the analogies and parallels created with mythology and symbolism through the presence of animals in this world, Karnan is captivating in so many ways. The brilliance of actors like Lal, Rajisha Vijayan and Natarajan Subramaniam is apparent, but the star power and skill of a known actor like Dhanush is so praiseworthy to witness, backing a project that communicates first before just being a mere entertainer. I found myself weeping in the conclusion of this film, and I am not the one to get easily swayed by stories like this. This one is truly a must. Number 4 goes to GEELI PUCCHI. The only Hindi film, not even a feature though, that makes it to my list is the Neeraj Gaiwan directed short GEELI PUCCHI, a part of the anthology on Netflix Ajeeb Dastans, starring Konkana Sen and Aditi Rao Hydari in lead roles. The film focuses on the life of Bharti Mandal, played by Konkana Sen Sharma, who is a factory worker and comes across a woman, Priya Sharma, played by Aditi Rao Hydari, who gets hired for a job in the same company for which Bharti is equally capable. The development of a friendship and the unfortunate turn of events as several biases get uncovered forms the crux of the storyline of GEELI PUCCHI. I had tweeted about this immediately after watching the anthology that this short solidified in my mind that Konkana Sen Sharma is possibly one of the most talented actors we have in the country today. GEELI PUCCHI explores several themes, from the female experience in male-dominated occupations, the blatant disregard for individuals on the basis of the regressive caste system, the subjugation and vitriol one faces to simply love freely, the categorization of what constitutes a woman. This short has so many sequences that are telling of humans and their hypocrisy. The hierarchy that exists between those who work on the floor versus the ones who are comfortable in their cubicles, the unsaid truth of who serves and who gets served really forms some thought-provoking moments from this story. For the anthology being a mixed bag, GEELI PUCCHI definitely stood out as the show stealer. Number 3 goes to Kala, a movie I am a tad bit obsessed with. Kala focuses on Shaji, who with his wife and son visit his father who lives in a dwelling surrounded by a dense forest. Shaji, played by Tovino Thomas, is constantly berated by his father, played by Lal, for his inability to turn investments in farming to successful businesses. Kala focuses on the day where the trees that surround the house need tending to and the workers are called for the day. Suspicious activities follow, leading to a gruesome and bloody showdown between Shaji and a boy who comes with a vengeance and only one goal in mind. A film that may simply come across as a no-nonsense action film, but it is much more significant than that. The film is a commentary on the battle between the oppressors and the oppressed. The film starts with a quote by Oscar Wilde, stating, "Selfishness is not living as one wishes to live, it is asking others to live as one wishes to live." The fascinating part about this film is that it satisfies both kinds of viewers, one who demands a technically brilliant and gory action film, and the other that requires subtext and nuance. Shot so beautifully by Akhil George and showcasing mind-blowing performances by Tovino Thomas and especially Sumesh Moore, this one will definitely blow you away. Number 2 goes to JOJI, an adaptation of the William Shakespeare play Macbeth set in our current reality during the pandemic. JOJI is directed by Dileesh Pothan, the Fahad Pothan duo, always delivering something special. This, from what I know, is the third adaptation of Macbeth in India that I have seen. One being the Vishal Bhardwaj directed film Maqbool and the other being the 2016 Jayasuriya directed Malayalam film Veeram starring Kunal Kapoor. JOJI is a film that really showcased how adaptations of the same source material can be so different and still have the ability to surprise you. The film, like many Malayalam films in the list, is technically brilliant. From the wide-angle shots of characters contemplating their next move, the engaging background score composed by Justin Varghese, and the captivating performances of the ensemble cast, especially Babu Raj, Fahad Fasil, and the unassuming but wicked Unimaya Prasad. JOJI highlights the detrimental effects of boundless ambition, the thin line between ambition and greed, guilt and how it manifests in a spectrum of actions, and masculinity in many ways, and what is expected of people. The lines, "The dead will never return, but beware of those who are alive," still gives me chills. Before I get to the number 1 position, I just wanted to tell you a few honorable mentions. I thoroughly enjoyed Seema Pava's Ram Prasad Ki Tervi, a film that beautifully represents how even in families who supposedly should be individuals closest to us, an avenue where we can be unabashedly ourselves, we put on this pretentious garb while bottling so many years of thoughts, emotions and resentments. A guilty pleasure inclusion is also Kayos Irani's short Unkahi, because I absolutely fell in love with the charm showcased by Manav Kaul and the effortless chemistry between him and Shefali Shah. And who can forget, well, the heartbreaking conclusion that tore everyone to pieces. And lastly, I think Sandeep or Pinky Farrar deserves a special mention as well. Dibakar Banerjee's prowess as a creator and churning out such convincing performances from Arjun and Pariniti while still delivering a piece with such nuance on our society today. The man really is a visionary. Now, let's get to the final one. Number 1, of course, goes to Radhe. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Let's get to serious business. Number 1 goes to Hello, Charlie. Okay. I'll stop messing around. Number 1, of course, goes to The Great Indian Kitchen. This Malayalam film focuses on an arranged marriage and how the woman has to assimilate and understand and contribute with respect to the family and its customs and traditions. Geo Baby has the ability to say so much from a social context. The film tries to talk about the regressive customs that still prevail in the country and what is expected of women in a household. A clear patriarchal setup that identifies them as caretakers rather than better halves. The film does not dwell into showcasing the plight of women through an emotional monologue or a gut-wrenching soundtrack. It believes in communicating the suffocation through actions. Something as basic as showcasing the aftermath of meals. A complete lack of kindness and empathy is clear through the grimy table of spilled leftovers and the loaded sink of unwashed dishes. This minimalistic portrayal of what may seem menial to us but are the essential elements of our daily subsistence actually impacts to a far greater level than the soppy so-called women-oriented films that force-feed the idea of the plight of women. Is your role that of a wife that equally contributes, or of a domestic help hired for free that even gives consent for sex at night? The Great Indian Kitchen is a special film. A film that all of you should watch on Amazon Prime Video. It's one for the ages and for cinema. And Kerala does it yet again with its brilliant storytelling. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below your list of the best films of 2021 so far. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.